A couple of months ago, I made a video called The Real Reason Why Today's Music is Starting to Sound the Same. And I got a lot of comments on that video. The most common one was starting or starting to. I also got accused of being stuck in the past. And of course, I was told that I was just an old man yelling at a cloud.
I'll tell you.
And that's fine. Those are fair things to say considering the title that I made. I did make it sound like I was talking about all music. I thought people would know that I was talking about mainstream music. But to be honest, I've never done a video that got anywhere near that amount of views, so I wasn't prepared for the amount of scrutiny people were going to give me, and I'm taking it to heart. I also mentioned a bunch of other things that I wasn't able to get to, which have contributed to why music sounds the same. The death of indie radio and the consolidation of massive radio station networks and their use of central programming, how the music business used to be run by people who had some sort of musical expertise or at least music enthusiasm to being run by soulless lawyers and musically ignorant money-grubbing pigs, the death of genres, getting more and more songs to mix that are all at 120 beats per minute, the decrease in the percentage of songs that use key changes, MIDI packs, and the death of the full-length album, the album cut, and how everything's a single now. I had a lot of people request that I do a video about those subjects, which I promise I'm going to do. Also, at the end of that video, I said this: try something different. Get out of the box. And you don't really need all the equipment that I've got here to accomplish that. If anybody's interested in me doing a video about that, I've got some interesting techniques, let me know. And I did make a video about that. It's up on my channel. You should check it out. It's a fun one. But the main thing was this. A lot of people were saying there is good music out there. There are bands and artists making innovative music that they're actually playing the instruments and really doing real music. And I thought, well, yeah, of course, not everybody sounds the same, but there's not really that many. But what ended up happening was a lot of people started referring bands to me, just one after another, and I made a list and I started checking them out, and it was like, wow, there were just a lot of them, and I realized I was wrong. There are people out there really working, really trying, really doing things. You just don't hear about them. You got to dig for them, or you got to have people throw them at you in comments telling you, you're just an old man in a bubble. Well, maybe I am, but I got to tell you, I loved a lot of these bands, and I want to mention them here. I can't talk about all of them because there's just too many. So what I'm going to do is go through and just mention some of the bands and artists that I really like, because I would like everybody else to know, and also I would like to admit that, okay, I was wrong. So anyway, here we go. The band that was mentioned the most was King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. They are a multi-genre rock band from Australia, and when I say multi-genre, I don't mean that they just use different genres within their songs. They do concept albums where each album will sound completely different from the other. In fact, they did one album with 24 equal temperament tuning, which means they're using notes that we don't normally use in the Western scale. There's a lot of live footage from their concerts, which you should definitely check out, as well as their regular videos. They're a band that is just doing what they want to do, which gets a lot of respect from me. I'm now a fan. Oh, and I wanted to say I'll have links to all these artists in the description below. Next is the Who. They are a Mongolian folk metal group using traditional Mongolian instruments that have been electrified. Some of the band's lyrics include Mongolian war cries and poetry sung in the Mongolian language. Now, I'd actually already heard about them when they put out their first video years ago because my kids told me about them, but it's nice to see, checking back on them, that they're still going strong. Check them out. I really love the Jazz Avengers. While they're not redefining jazz, the fact that they've got 3 saxophone players as their lead instruments is actually very innovative and leads to these interesting arrangements and songs, and they're all really great musicians, and they rock out. I ended up kind of going into a deep dive and watching a bunch of the videos and kind of getting behind on the research and kind of slowed down making this video, so you should check them out. This next band, I didn't really like at first, and I was about to skip ahead to the next band when something caught my ear, and then something else caught my ear, and I was like, ooh, I like this band. It's Baroness. Now, they're technically considered a heavy metal band, but I think they're doing something that reaches beyond heavy metal that I can't quite explain. The melodies and arrangement are just unique. And hey, they're from Georgia, so I had to give them some love. I would love to work with a band like this. I'm gonna have to dig deeper into this group. This song by Dijon starts with this really creepy sound, and then this guitar comes in. It's being recorded live. It just sounds like it's just in the room. The amp's just there. And then when he comes in singing, it's just him singing in the room. You're just hearing it just there. At first, it doesn't seem like any of it should go together, but it really does. And then there's a lap steel, which I love, so they got me there. And most importantly, it's a bunch of people playing together in a room, performing. This is a great combination of traditional instruments like old school recording with modern technology. And I gotta say, sonically and vibe-wise, this is some of the coolest stuff I've heard in years. I am really inspired. Now, the guy that was playing guitar in that song is Mk.Gee, and he produced that stuff, but his own stuff, although it sounds similar, is definitely its own thing. His guitar picking style so much reminds me of Andy Summers from The Police, but it's definitely his own unique sound. And this whole thing of recording the vocals just in the room with a room sound is a very interesting way to do it. It's certainly been done before. It was a very common thing in more old school records, but in this context with the kind of music he's doing and the sound of everything, it's actually damn genius. I think I'm gonna have to try that on something I record in the future. And for something completely different, there's Matthew Herbert's The Horse. And that's where this guy, Matthew Herbert, took a horse skeleton and made a whole album with it. He did a live performance of it with a London Contemporary Orchestra, and it's kind of hard to actually find the recordings. There's no videos of the whole album, but you can hear the album on Bandcamp. You gotta pay for it. I just felt like I should mention it because it was just so weird. Heading in a completely different direction is the duo Magdalena Bay or Magdalena Bay. I'm not sure how to say that. Some people call them alt pop. I mean, it's sonically pop, but to me, I feel like they're drawing on a lot of different genres. But I gotta say, the main thing is their songs are very well written, very well produced. They know what they're doing. And they're not afraid to pan sounds really far left and right. Love these people. On the mellower side, there's Demarco. He does these very organic, intimate sounding recordings. And he's somebody who's not so concerned about being in tune, but I mean that in the best way possible. It just kind of creates this cool, vibey sound. Sometimes when he's singing, he makes me think of Cat Stevens, and the recordings sound as if he spent a lot of time hanging out with Shuggie Otis, which is awesome. The Wikipedia article says that he records using a lot of vintage gear, using a Fostex A8 reel-to-reel recorder, which is something I used to use, but if you look at this picture here, that looks more like a Tascam 48 half-inch 8-track, which is way better. He's also using some vintage DBX compressors, a Roland tape delay Space Echo. He's got a Neve 33609 stereo compressor, and of course his Roland CR78 drum machine, which is really, really cool. But look, he's got a Briscotti M7, which is damn impressive. Anyway, I love these videos that he makes. They're so low-key, and I love his songs. On the other side of the planet is Mdou Moctar. He is a singer, guitarist, and songwriter from Niger who performs rock music inspired by Tuareg guitar music or Tishamaran, a variation of what is called desert blues. He sings in the Tamishek language, and when he was young, his family disapproved of him playing electronic instruments because of religious reasons, so he had to build his own guitar using bicycle cables as guitar strings. He first gained attention through a network of trading cell phones and memory cards in West Africa, which is a very interesting way to market yourself. The performances are powerful, and the musicianship is just incredible. And there were so many other artists and bands that you referred that I really liked. I just couldn't get them all in here. But I wanted to say, thanks for proving me wrong. I don't mind being proven wrong if it leads me to a better place. And that's one of the things I love about having this YouTube channel. And that is what you give me. So thank you. And thanks for watching. And as always, be unique.
Freaking out with Billy Hume.